Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein?
Rich and powerful men abusing, assaulting, and abandoning young women. These rich and powerful men donate to the politicians in Washington, D.C., play golf with the elites in Washington, D.C. They are foreign leaders who we don't want to offend. They interact with our intelligence agencies that we don't want to disobey. There is something rotten in Washington.
And are people still talking about this guy, this creep?
All those congressmen you just saw there are on the record as protecting the child rapists who were clients of Epstein. They have not prosecuted a single person outside of Epstein and Maxwell.
Yep.
Not one.
Is Trump engaging in this cover-up because he's in the Epstein files?
I don't understand why the Jeffrey Epstein case would be of interest to anybody. It's pretty boring stuff.
So as the government keeps telling us, yeah, there's other people. Yeah, they raped those girls. So what? We're gonna cover up for them. But why are you guys so mad?
A nation that chooses impunity for the rich and the powerful at the expense of our children is a nation that has lost its moral purpose. Are you on the side of the people? Are you on the side of America's children? Or are you on the side of the rich and powerful who've had their thumb on the scales and shafted Americans for decades?
So it looks like the Trump-Epstein saga just took a very unexpected turn and not in his favor. What started as yet another attempt to downplay or distance himself from his connection to Jeffrey Epstein is now blowing up in ways he probably didn't see coming. Now people are digging up receipts, old interviews, and even resurfacing court documents, and trust me, the internet is eating it up. Now let's break down what's going on and why people are saying this could be one of his biggest PR disaster yet.
This is crazy. One of the Epstein victims is alleging that he kept multiple different videotapes of Donald Trump and many other powerful people. Check this out. She also claimed that Donald Trump had relations with one of her unnamed friends at Jeffrey Epstein's New York home on a regular basis. She even claimed that she had hard copies of tapes that Epstein made of some of his high-profile friends like Trump and Bill Clinton, Prince Andrew, and others. She went on to confirm that she knows her friend had regular relations with Trump at Jeffrey Epstein's New York mansion, but she walked back on her claims. She said the reason she redacted her claims were that only bad things and pain for her family would come from going public, so it sounds like she was threatened. I say that because multiple other women and children said they were threatened or worried for their lives about going public with this information. Unfortunately, after threatening these people and making them fear for their lives, the Trump administration can easily say, guys, they were made-up allegations to begin with. That's why they redacted them. You know, with everything that's going on, it seems like the Trump administration will be releasing everything that they possibly could to prove his innocence, but he's not, because he is definitely implicated in all of the Epstein files. This is pretty optimistic, but Trump could possibly be impeached, removed by Congress, and jailed by Georgia before Christmas of 2025. Hear me out on this scenario. So we know Chuck Schumer invoked a century-old law called the Rule of Five to force Trump to release the full Epstein files. If they were to get released and had Trump's name in them, 30 House GOP reps told us if the DOJ confirms their relationship, they will vote to impeach him. Now here's where it gets interesting. If Trump does get impeached and removed from office, then he will be a private citizen again and could go to jail. One big case of his is still open, and that is the Georgia election racketeering prosecution, which we know he's clearly guilty of. Just as a reminder, this prosecution alleges that Trump led a criminal racketeering enterprise in which he and all other defendants knowingly and willfully joined in a conspiracy to overturn the 2020 election. And this could certainly fall under Georgia's broad RICO law, meaning Donald Trump could end up in jail if all of this plays out. The best part is even J.D. Vance can't save Trump in this scenario because the Georgia case is a state case. And Trump couldn't even seek a pardon from the state's GOP governor because Georgia is one of 4 states whose governor does not have the authority to grant clemency. Put this all together and Trump could possibly be boxed in from all sides, impeached, exposed by Georgia, and publicly humiliated by the Epstein files.
How is MAGA responding to Trump saying that the Epstein client list never existed? Well, see for yourself.
I'm a Trump supporter, and I'm going to tell you this right now. If this is the verdict, there's no Epstein client list. If we don't get accountability for the thousands of victims that were abused, then I'm jumping ship. And all of you should as well.
This is all going in the trash. I do not support Trump anymore. He's a liar. He's a part of the deep state. I do not support Israel.
I will not be supporting him anymore. He's part of the deep state. The whole thing that this tape shows he didn't kill himself is like a joke. But worse than that, it's a joke that we all get. Like, they're not fooling anybody. So I feel like we're at a dangerous point now.
So now, by coming in and being part of the cover-up, the Trump administration has become part of it. I mean, it's just, you cannot see it any other way. So I just got to the office. I'm going to go throw up, actually. And this only happens every few years when something really, really bad happens or something. I mean, I'm physically going to puke probably right now. My mouth is watering right now. Because I have integrity.
So this message goes out to Donald Trump and his people. I've been asked before, what would it take for you to not support Donald Trump anymore? I always said, well, it'd take a lot. I've literally made thousands of videos on this app supporting you, sir. So if you're deciding that Epstein is the bridge that you're gonna burn, I got the match, sir. You're telling me there's no list after you told me there was a list. You're telling me that you don't care about these victims. This is a promise you made to the American people, sir. Non-negotiable. You've always been in tune with your supporters. Always. 100% spot on. Not this time, sir. You missed this one.
I voted for Donald Trump in 2016, 2020, and 2024. I am prepared to die on this hill. If Donald Trump is part of the Epstein list and why he has decided to pretend like doesn't exist anymore, then the war that I've been waging on liberals, I plan to wage on Donald Trump if he cannot explain or make sense of this soon. It's pointing to that he is implicated.
So I voted for Trump, and this Epstein thing is just insane. But I think it's showing us one thing, and that's our country is unified for the first time in a long time. And I don't care if you're Democrat or Republican, we all know this administration is guilty. So
Trump is mentioned 64 times in the Epstein files. In his many court cases, he has pleaded the fifth 97 times. He has 34 felony conviction criminal charges, 26 sexual assault allegations, 6 bankruptcies, 5 draft deferments, 4 indictments, 2 impeachments, 2 convicted companies, 1 fake university that was shut down, 1 charity that was shut down for fraud, and a $25 million fraud settlement. But yeah, sure, lecture me on how no one else is above the law. Because the way this country works is if you're rich, you can do whatever the fuck you want and the laws don't apply to you. There's always a loophole. Rich people are above the law. We're in an oligarchy. They make the laws to benefit them. It's not hard.
Right now, Donald Trump is trying to distract you from the Epstein files, and we're watching it happen in real time. So yesterday, out of nowhere, the day after the Wall Street Journal published their explosive bombshell report on Trump's relationship with Epstein, DNI Secretary Tulsi Gabbard put out this long thread on Twitter basically claiming that Obama and Democrats in his administration committed treason, that's the word she used, against Donald Trump and faked the Russia investigation in 2016. She goes on this long rant claiming that all these different pieces of evidence exist. Spoiler alert, they don't. We have a report from a special counsel saying that Russia interfered, a report from Republicans, a Republican-led committee in the Senate that also said that Russia interfered. But that, of course, hasn't stopped Donald Trump. He amplified Tulsi Gabbard on social media just a few hours ago at the time of filming this. He also amplified Fox host Sean Hannity talking about this. And it's so obvious that Donald Trump is doing this to rile up the base and get people to stop talking about the Epstein files because he's not releasing them after promising to do so. We have to stay focused on these Epstein files and holding Trump accountable. So please either share this video or share this message with your friends, family, and loved ones. Whatever works for you, just get it out there because it's happening right now, right before our very eyes.
Okay, we have to thread this needle very carefully. I'm going to talk about Melania Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. And more, when that happens, when someone does that, you get $1 billion lawsuit. Yesterday, James Carville, the Democratic political operative and commentator, was forced to take down a YouTube video he made, which connected Melania and Jeffrey Epstein. Last week, the Daily Beast got a letter and had to take down something they wrote characterizing something I said about Melania and Epstein. What this is an effort to thwart, stop, frustrate anybody who is out there trying to make that connection. You can't do it, or you're going to get sued in a way that is going to be just incredibly costly, burdens that you can't bear. Do not make the connection. Will this work? Will this strategy of suing everybody for $1 billion, that seems to be the amount, will it work? The Epstein files, which were promised, have now all but been deep-sixed. Congress, the Democrats in Congress, threatening to investigate what happened to Jeffrey Epstein and, of course, Donald Trump. Well, they adjourned Congress, so that wouldn't happen. The president has sued the Wall Street Journal, which published a letter from the president to Epstein on the occasion of his 50th birthday. The number two in the Justice Department, Todd Blanche, ran down to interview Ghislaine Maxwell to find out what Ghislaine Maxwell might say about Donald Trump, and then was immediately sent to a much more comfortable prison. Can the truth be silenced? Yes, probably.
So I know Republicans like to rely on common sense, and I was talking to a lifelong Republican this week when I realized that many Republicans who still support Donald Trump don't realize that for almost 20 years he owned beauty pageants, including the Miss Teen USA. And that he is on record bragging about, not admitting, bragging about how he would exploit his role as the owner to catch young women in the act of dressing, nude or partially nude. Just simply walk in on them. That he would exploit his position of power with those beauty pageant contestants.
You own this pageant, you go over, you're meeting the girls and stuff. One of them comes up to you and says, "Mr. Trump, you're a very sexy man.
You're a beautiful man. You have fantastic hair.
Well, you're a powerful man." Right? You're a powerful man.
Right.
I want to sleep with you. Now, you're not the type that would say no.
I don't want to hurt their feelings.
Right. No, but I mean, you see a beautiful woman, you want to have that. You're a guy who likes to have everything, right?
Well, couldn't that be construed, however, as
conflict?
Yes.
Well, I don't see it as a conflict.
It could be a conflict of interest, but it's the kind of thing you worry about later.
Oh, I see.
You tend to think about the conflict a little bit later on.
The question is, how can it not be construed?
No, I mean, some of these foreign girls, Mr. Trump, in my country, we say hello with vagina. And,
well, you could also say, as the owner of the pageant, it's your obligation to do that.
So you have done that. Now,
I'll tell you the funniest is that I'll go backstage before a show.
Yes.
And everyone's getting dressed and ready and everything else, and no men are anywhere. And I'm allowed to go in because I'm the owner of the pageant, and therefore I'm inspecting it. I'm inspecting. I want to make sure that
like
everything is
doctor.
good.
You're there.
Yeah, the dress. Is everyone okay? They're standing there with no clothes. Is everybody okay? And you see these incredible-looking women, and so I sort of get away with things like that.
Republicans, does it not seem like common sense that with all the concern and the questions about the Epstein files, that Donald Trump has something to hide? Does it not seem like common sense that Bondi and Kash Patel are busy scrubbing those files before they finally release them? Does it not seem like common sense that Donald Trump and his administration would do anything that they could to distract from that attention, including flooding the streets of D.C. with National Guard, FBI agents, and the threat of active military? Think about it. Common sense.
So whether you believe this is karma finally catching up or just another media frenzy, one thing is clear: the internet is not letting this slide. Every time Trump tries to move past these Epstein ties, it feels like more and more debts get dug up. And if this keep going, 2025 might just turn into a year he wishes people had shorter memories. But what do you think? Is this just noise, or could it actually hurt him in a big way? Let me know in the comments, and of course don't forget to like this video and subscribe to support the channel. I will see you in the next one. Bye.